Since I began here, the old method of sidewalk replacement was go into subdivision, mark the sidewalks, send a letter out to the residents because it was their responsibility. This is how many flags we're going to replace, this is how much it will cost, and then tell them here's how you could pay it. In 2006, council got together and said there's got to be an easier way, simplified way, and a fairer way in their estimation to do this, right? Because we had some residents who had thousands of dollars in bill for sidewalks and others who had hardly any. So they said sidewalks are kind of a mutually beneficial item, so let's go through and figure out a way to make this simple. So they began a $25 sidewalk assessment fee in 2007, and we got through 10 years of that program, but we realized at about $110,000 a year we only had done 40% of the city. And the realization is the cost of cement, the cost of removing trees was so expensive they had to find a different way. The council asked me to come up with ways to do it, two things, quicker and fairer if possible. So they asked me to look at bonds, and the city does issue a lot of bonds for debt, and really all that is a loan to the city. We sell them on the marketplace, people buy them for a percentage, and then the coupons pay off the amount of money that they bought the bonds for. We try and obviously keep it as low as possible. So in this instance, and in November, we'll have a ballot initiative that proposes sidewalk assessment bonds, a capital bond. And what that will do is we'll have two installments if the bond passes the voters. And we'll replace the other 60% of the city that hasn't been done yet will be replaced in 5 years. And we do have a map on the city website to show the plan for the 5 years to complete. If we had just continued the $25 sidewalk fee, we estimated it would have taken probably 20 more years to get through the city. And that was the reason council said that's just not acceptable, that's too much time, it's taking too long, let's do this quicker and continue on the fair method to finish the sidewalk program. It's interesting, and I try to mention this as often as I can at council meetings. The taxpayers here are different than many. The small town feel that this community has. Every time we've asked for a bond, we got a lot of good questions, and the voters have been very supportive. Nobody likes to assess themselves more taxes, but there's something about Clawson where people have that all-in mentality. Let's help and do this for everyone. Most taxes are citywide beneficial. School taxes, we have people that say, I don't have any kids in school, but I support strong school system. I don't use the sidewalks, but I want the sidewalks to be good. So it's really that type of mentality. I've already got my sidewalks done. I paid the same amount as everyone else. I want to see the rest of the city get their sidewalks done. So that's kind of been the attitude that everyone has, is let's get this done, and citywide we'll have nice new sidewalks. With it being a tax, it will base on your taxable value. So if you have an expensive home, you'll pay a little bit more than somebody who has a less expensive home. But again, most millages work that way, and bonds are the same way. The one thing council tasked me to do was to try and come up with a way to issue these bonds and keep the debt millage, the overall debt millage, low, or as low as possible. And our bond advisors took this and said, we can fashion this so that we do 2 installment sales, and then we pay the bonds back over a period of time that allows the debt millage to continue to drop. So even though the average, they estimate over 11 years, will be about 0.58 mils, the overall debt millage for taxes for individuals will continue to go down. So the effect is taxes will continue to drop even though we're paying this bond, and the sidewalks will get done in 5 years. There is. On the city website we have a link to, I did 2 PowerPoints. I know the most recent one is there because we had originally looked at increasing the fee, because some people asked, including council, what if we just increased the fee, would that be easier? The concern with the fee was that the voters don't get a say, don't get a vote. We looked at it as a special assessment, so we thought let's just put the bond in front of the voters, get it done quicker, and I think the fairest way to pay it would be on an assessment based on home value. So the information that's out there is mainly on the website. You can find it on the cityofclawson.com website, the PowerPoint information, and then you can always call me here at City Hall, and I'd be glad to answer any questions that you have. Yes, our plan and map is set in stone at this point. In each section will be done per year in 5 years, and we'll get through that 60% in 5 years.